Hey, Shalom, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Peace, salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, learning or teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Today I want to go over how in these last days we got to love your brethren and be that light, to shine it before others. Like how Yahweh Shai said, love thy neighbor as thyself as well. And then I'll get into some prophecy as well. Like how it says, first time we started off with that, Matthew 4:17. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 17. From that time Yahweh Shai began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And yeah, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's why in these last days you gotta come back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Why? Because we know the devil have a short time and time's running out. So we want to continue to stay in these laws, statutes, and commandments and have the faith of Yahweh Shai, because we know faith and works is what will get us into the kingdom, Yahweh Radazah. And we want to endure to the end that we shall be saved. You know, knowing that our salvation is nearer than we believed. So I'm also going to get into some prophecy as well. This is why Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship God, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. Yeah, the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. And back then our forefathers would prophesy against downfalls of kingdoms. I want to get that as well. This is Salakia, bear with me. This is Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 28. I'm going to start at verse 9. And the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. The prophet which prophesy of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known, and that the Yahweh had truly sent him. So you'll know the difference between a true prophet and a false prophet. Because a true prophet that has the testimony of Yahweh Shai, the spirit of prophecy, and is preaching this true doctrine from the Church of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and following the water baptism and not following this one West doctrine, because we know that's false. The water baptism in the name of Yahweh Shai for remission of sins, you know. So because the prophets from the old would prophesy against the kingdoms of war, against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And that's what we're doing today, you know. And you're gonna know that a prophet have been among you, as the scriptures say. When the Yahweh Shai comes and Armageddon starts and those missiles come and Yahweh Shai comes and then chariots, you know. I want to start it off with the book of John. Yeah, because we want to be that light in these last days. And we, you know, the light comes from Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai is the light. So this is John. John chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. And by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have loved one another. So like if ye have love one to another. So that's how you're gonna know you're a disciple of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. If you love one another, if you treat people how you want to be treated, you don't high esteem someone else and make someone else feel lower. Even if you got a revelation or something, you still want to show love, and you want to have hope that anyone else in the body could get that revelation, or because it's everybody's equal. No one's above their servant. No one's above their master, like how Yahweh Shai said. And that's why I get that. I want to back that up with the book of Philippians, because we're getting judged off how we show love to one another in these last days. So we want to be equal to one another and bring them up. Don't put them down. You don't want to put someone down when they're putting their life on the line, coming out here to the best of their ability every Shabbat, and also someone in a different lot, because there's different lots. You want to be there for them when they're down. You want to pick them up, like how it says in Ecclesiastes 4. 2 is better than 1. I'll get that too as well. This is so I'm gonna get this because this goes for a lot of people that say you don't, for the no campers, because you gotta have that fellowship. Like Yahweh Shai said, when 2 and 3 are in the midst of my name, I am there with thee. I'll get that out since I'm paraphrasing it. This is Matthew chapter 18 and verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. I've dropped this in the chat before too as well, in the Church Yahweh Shem Yahushai chat, because this is facts, man. And the brother Hawiyalu was just talking about this yesterday on the Telegram. But that's red letter right there, man. That's Yahweh Shai. He's there among you. He's in the midst of them. If 2 or 3 are gathered in His name. That's why you don't want to isolate yourself and stay alone in this walk, because it's hard to fall back into the world if you do that. And this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as for the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. So yeah, you want to exhort one another, because that's getting into like encouraging. You want to encourage and strengthen one another, and not neglect the assembly. You don't want to forsake it, the meeting we're having together, and that's why you're warning one another for this, because we see that the day's coming near. That's what, as we see the day approaching, because we know we're in the last days, and that's why we want to always be there for one another and show love to one another. Because we don't want to we don't want to ever like not be there for a brother, because you want to love your brother as your own soul, like David and Jonathan. That's loving your neighbor as thyself, like Yahweh Shai said. That's from the old to the new, and this is let me get this. This is Luke chapter 22 and verse 31. And Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan had desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. And let me add on to verse 32. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. So that's why you wanna strengthen your brethren in these last days and have love, man. The fruits of the Spirit, you know, that meekness and all the fruits of the Spirit. You know, because you like I was saying, you want to strengthen thy brethren. You know, that's like strengthening and building up your brothers. You know, like I'll get it in the NLT right here, because you can use the NLT to explain it make it more explainable. You know, you just have to have discernment on it. I'll add that video on my page as well, the How We Elevated Yapa video on it. How you just have to know the differences on the NLT. So this is so I'll just read the NLT version of the 31. Simon, Satan had asked to have all of you to sift you like wheat, but I have pleaded you in prayer for you, Simon, that your faith should not fail. So when you have repented and turned to me again, strengthen and build up your brothers. So Khan, you know, like that's why Yahweh Shai said that your faith's gonna fail not. Your faith should not fail, because when you have repented and you turn to me again, strengthen thy brethren, build up your brothers, because we've all sinned in this walk, and we've had to repent, and then we strengthen our brethren so they can learn from our mistakes, because you want your brethren to learn from your mistakes so they don't have to do it. But a lot of people, a lot of the 12 tribes of Israel, our nation, they like to do it themselves. They like to go through it themselves, but you don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna get that Ecclesiastes. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 4. I'm gonna start at verse 9. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. So we see two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. And we know that our reward is trying to make it to the kingdom of heaven, setting our treasures upon heaven, like I was saying. And like in my last video, I said like how in Isaiah 2 that when in the end times, you know, like they throw all that silver and gold away, because when they go into the cliffs of the rocks, when the great earthquake happens, that's because you know that riches profit nothing in the day of wrath, and that this money, it's not gonna matter. That's why we don't save up money. That's why it says, just paraphrasing this rock too, that be patient when brought low to a low estate. Because Yahweh Hashem Yahshua will bring you to a low estate, because we're laying our treasures upon heaven. Verse 10, for if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth. You know, so Khan. Like you see that if one falls, that your brother's gonna pick you up. You know, that's why you want to have brethren. You know, that's why you want to have brethren in the body. But woe to him that is alone. You know, that's destruction. Woe to you that is alone, man, because you don't want to be alone. So who's gonna pick you up when you fall? That's what it was getting into. You know. For he hath not another to help him up. He has no one to help him up when he falls. So he's just going to continue to fall and stay on the ground. You know, vice versa, either way. Again, if two lie together and they have heat, how can one be warm alone? You know, how can you be warm alone? Because if two lie together, that's how they get warm. You know, when a husband and wife cuddle together to get warm, if it's cold, that's how they get warm. But if you lie alone, how can you get, if you're alone, if you're one, how can you be warm alone? Because you can't. That's what the question is, Verse 12, if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. And a 3/4 cord, Slakia, 3/4 cord is not quickly broken. So yeah, as we can see right there, a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated. That's what it's getting at. But one that is together, they're three are better is what it's getting at. Because a 3/4 cord can't be broken. It's not easily broken. It would be hard to break it. I'll get back into this, y'all. Now I want to get into the oh yeah, come. Get that. So let me get that in the Matthew 26. This is Matthew 26. What's up, boss? How you doing? This is Matthew 26 and where is it? No, it's 21. So this is Matthew 22 and verse 39. And I'll start at 37. Yahweh Shai said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. So we see Yahweh Shai was quoting that from Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6, and I'll get that real quick. If you have any questions, just let me know. I got you. This is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee in this day shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto the children. Thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by thy way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So Khan, yeah, that's why you want to love thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy mind. That's what Yahweh Shai was quoting. So I'm going to continue on, verse 39 on Matthew 22. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love the neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So that these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So that's how you know if you're a true prophet, if you're really loving your brethren. And loving your brethren is of the nation of the 12 tribes of Israel. It don't say, when Yahweh Shai said, love your enemies, that's going for the 12 tribes of Israel. We wouldn't want to love our enemies who are Psalms 83, Esau, the so-called white man, and all these other nations. Because they're the ones who are confederate against us, because they don't want to wake us up into this truth. They don't want us to come into remembrance of who we are. Because that's when we come into remembrance of who we are, that's when the elect is sealed, and Yahweh Shai comes with the chariots. And gets his elect, and that's how you know if you have the elect and you're making it to the kingdom. Khan. Yeah, so this hangs all the law and the prophets. I'm gonna get that Matthew 7 and 12.
All right, Jeff. Good job, bud.
All right, yeah, have a good one. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 12. Therefore all these things whatsoever ye would that man should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law of the prophets. So you want to treat others how you want to be treated. You don't want to bring someone low, because would you want to be brought low? You know, like you don't want to say you don't want to count someone out when someone else is out there putting in this work. You want to show him love too. You don't want to just say, oh, one person is saying this, one person saying that. You know, because what about the other person? You want to show love to that person too as well. Like, so if they're on, you know, you want to count both of them as well into it. You don't want to just exclude one out of it when he's putting in the work too. You know, you want to show love equally and think about, oh, I shouldn't say that because I wouldn't want that to be said to me. You know, Khan. That's why I'm gonna get that. Where's that? I'm gonna get in the book of Luke. Said it. Salaki, I had it right there. Just to explain it a little better, this is Luke chapter 6 and verse 31. And as ye would that man should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. You know? Treat them how you're supposed to be treated. Treat them how you would want to be treated. That's what Yahushua is getting at. Because I don't know what you wouldn't want to ever bring someone down because then that's not good. That's what Yahushua is getting at. Let me get this Romans 13. Start at 9. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any commandment that is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is fulfilling the law. Love's fulfilling the law. So you want to love your brethren. You know, we was made to love our brethren, to show love. So time's running out, and we're gonna get judged off how we love one another. We're gonna be judged off how we treat one another. You don't want to treat someone bad because you don't know who that person is through reincarnation as well. Khan. Yeah, this is let me get that First Peter. This is First Peter chapter 4 and verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. So charity covers the multitude of sins. You know, charity, that's that love. That's why Paul said that love is the fulfillment of the law. You know, just paraphrasing what I just brought out. And let me get that Proverbs. Salakia, bear with me. This is Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 12. Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. So we see that, let me get verse 11. I'm going to start at verse 11. Proverbs 10:11. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but the violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. So a righteous man is the well of life. You know, that's a righteous mouth. Is a righteous man. But the violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. So the wicked, you know, it's all corrupt, and it's violence. You know? And I'm going to get that verse, Proverbs 10 and 12. So hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. So love covereth all sins. That's what Peter was. That's what Peter was quoting. You know, That's what Peter was quoting. Peter, of Apostle of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. You know, and like I say, you don't want to be alone in these last days, man. Like how I said, 2 is better than 1, because Moses had Aaron. You know, Paul had Barnabas. They were in 2s, and you know, the Yahweh Shai had the 12 disciples. You know, it's a lot were together. Like like you know, Joseph had his brothers. You know, they sold him into slavery, but he forgave them. You know, like there was no one alone. Like, you know what I mean? Like Mordecai, he had Esther. You know. Deborah had Barak, you know? Con. Let me get that Philippians, because you don't want to ever bring someone low in this walk. It's a lot. I had to check the camera because one time it went off on me before. Make sure it's still going. This is Philippians chapter 2. I'm gonna start from the top. If there be any consolation in a Mashiach, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels of the mercies. So Khan is getting like it's a question, you know, like because you read it in the NLT, it's saying, is it a question? Is it a question? Because it's saying, is there any encouragement from belonging to a Mashiach? Any comfort from his love? Any fellowship together in the Spirit?
Assalamu alaikum.
What's up? Hey, Shalom. Yeah, are your hearts tender and sympathetic? Then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, working together with one heart and one purpose. So I'm gonna read it now back in King James Version, because that was the NLT, to get you a better explaining on it. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord and one mind. So being of the same love and being of one accord and one mind, that goes in well with loving your neighbor as yourself, and with the fruits of the Spirit. You know, showing love to one another, and you know, being like-minded and being one mind, and having the same doctrine. You got to be on the same page as this as well. You don't want to show hate. And I'm gonna get into that as well, because if you show hate, you're in darkness to your brother. So verse 3, let nothing be done in strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind. Let each esteem esteem other but better than themselves. So it's getting like, you don't want to be selfish, you don't want to have that vainglory, be in strife, and you don't want to live to make a good impression in others. That's what that's getting into, that vainglory. And you're saying like, be humble, be in lowness of mind. You want to be humble in this walk, and think of others, You want to think of others in this walk because you want to show love to them. And you don't want to bring anyone down, like I was saying. You want to think of others. Before you speak, think of how that will affect somebody else. Think of if you'll bring somebody down when you say that. And think of others as better than yourself. Because you don't want to put yourself above everybody. Everybody's equal. Like I said, Yahushua said, the master's not above his servant. Just paraphrasing, and that's showing love. Like camps out here, they charge money for breakdowns and for clothing. They advertise clothing while they're doing the work, and that's no bueno, because you're at the end of the day you're doing it for the filthy lucre's sake. And these pastors do it for the filthy lucre's sake, for that 501c. Salaki, that 501c. Yeah, that 501c. 501c3, if I said it wrong. It's like that. But you can't. That's why you don't want to charge for a breakdown or how these churches do it, man. They take money from you, from the 501c3. Can't. You want to, like I was saying, you want to be humble in that verse 3. Let nothing be done in strife and vainglory, but in lowliness of the mind, being humble, and let's esteem others better than yourselves. So bring them up, because you want to think of others as better than yourself. You want to be equal to everybody in this walk. Verse 4, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. So you don't want to think about your own affairs, but be interested in others too. You want to have cares for others. Like that one, care for others is part of the fruits of the Spirit, part of that love. You caring for others, you care as you care for yourself. And like how it says in the scriptures, cast all your cares upon God because He cares for you. Just paraphrasing, but that goes right with it. Because then you want to do the same for your brethren. Cast your cares upon the brethren. You want to care what they're doing. You want to have this charity, because if you don't have this charity, you're nothing. That's why I'm gonna get into it. So this is this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and I'm gonna get verse. Well, being of one mind. That thinks to me, like, let me get the follow-up precept upon precept. Let me get that 2 Corinthians 13. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 13 in a verse. Salakia, bear with me. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 13 in verse 11. Finally, brethren, farewell. Be perfect. Be of good comfort. Be of one mind. Live in peace. And God, the God of love and peace, shall be with you. Greet one another with an holy kiss. And that's greeting each other with that love. That's what that kiss is getting at. And all this, verse 13, all the saints salute you. The grace of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach and the love of God and the communion of the Holy Ghost be with you all. Amen. Yeah, and, you know, that's for the people, Yahweh Radazal, we of the elect, man. You know, and the grace of the grace of Yahweh Shai Mashiach and the love of God be with us in the communion of the Holy Ghost in the body, you know. So this is that. I want to get into that. Salakia. I want to get into that. Continue on 1 Corinthians 13:9. For we know. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. So we prophesy what we know. So that's what it's saying. We only know what the gift of the prophecy reveals to us, because the gift of the prophecy reveals little. So because we don't know all the prophecies, you know, we're growing daily in this sanctification walk. Verse 10. For when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. So that's saying, like, when the end comes, these gifts from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will appear, man. It's like, it's saying that when the end comes, these special gifts will all disappear. So lucky, I misphrased it. So verse 11, when I was a child, I spoke as a child and understood as a child. I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. And we know that we put away these childish things when we come into this walk, because we know the whole duty of man is to fear the Lord and follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You know, like, that's the whole duty of man. How it says in Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. You know? Verse 12, for now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I even know also I am known. So now it's saying, like, we see things imperfectly as a poor mirror, but then we will see everything with clarity, you know? Because all we know is partial and incomplete, but we will know everything. Yahweh Radazah, if we are the elect, when you get the new bodies and you get it, the laws in your mind and in your heart, you know, the new covenant, the new bodies, like in Jeremiah 31 and 33 and Hebrews 8 and 8, you would be able to know everything, because we're going to be perfect. Like we won't be sinning no more. We'll be perfect like Yahweh Shai is. You know, because God knows everything. You know, that's what that's getting into. Because even, you know, so verse 13, there are, Slaki, and now abideth faith, hope, charity, and these three, but the greatest of these is charity. So the greatest of these is that love. You know, of course we got to have the faith, hope, and charity, but the greatest of these is love. Out of all three of those, you know, that's why it said love fulfilleth the law. You have that love, all of the rest are going to come onto you. Because if you're not showing love to your brethren in these last days, you're doing it in darkness. What are you doing it for? You're doing it for vainglory, man. So Khan, let me get that. Let me get this from the top. Salakia. So this is 1 Corinthians 13 from the top. Though I speak with tongues of men and of angels, but I have not charity, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. As though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all the mysteries and all knowledge, though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. So if you have charity, you're nothing. Even if you know all the breakdowns, if you know all the prophecy, you know, if you know all the if you understand all the mysteries and the knowledge, you know, and Khan, that's what it's getting into, man. You're nothing if you don't have that love, that charity. Verse 3, and though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profit me nothing. So if you gave everything to the poor, and even sacrificed your body, you know, even if you died for this truth, if you didn't, if you didn't love others and you boasted about it, you know, you'd be nothing. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't value nothing. It would be all for nothing. So verse 4, charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, and it is not puffed up. So we see that Paul had to explain this to the Corinth church, because they didn't have that charity, you know, because you know that these people were doing, you know, they were Hellenized, so they were doing that, doing the will of the Gentiles, like 1 Peter 4:3. You're doing the will of the Gentiles, and you're doing idolatry. Let me get that 1 Peter 4:3 for edification's sake. Salakia, bear with me, I'm trying to find it. Alright, let me just get it out on the blue letter real quick. This is 1 Peter chapter 4 in verse 3. For the time past our lives may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. So Khan, you don't want to walk in those ways, you know, like that revelings is getting into like what they used to do for the Bacchus, you know, when they would worship that deity, and they would have those feasts and parties, you know, and yeah, all that wickedness, man, being drunk and stuff, you know, those who do those parades, you know, in the streets with torches. It goes back to the Bacchus, man, you know, and a lot of people do that. You know, we see that they have those pride things going on where people are naked and stuff, and that's wickedness as well. And those are the things you don't want to do. You know, you don't want to walk in lust. Yeah, so I'm going to get that. I'm going to continue on. This is verse 5. Doeth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own. It is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. So Khan, like it's saying like that charity, that love is patient and kind, and it doesn't get jealous or boastful or proud. You know, it doesn't do that stuff, because that's how you know that you're really in the spirit, walking in the spirit, by showing that love. You know, verse 5, do not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, it is easily not provoked, thinketh no evil. Yeah, so like, you know, like love, it goes like right in with that. You don't want to think no evil, because if you're thinking evil, you're not showing love to your brethren, you know. And let me get it in the NLT, verse 5 in NLT. Or rude, love does not demand its own way. Love is not irritable. It keeps no record of when it has been wronged, you know. So verse 7 in the King James Version. Beareth all things, believe all things, hope all things, endureth all things. You know, you want to hope all things and endure all things. Like how Paul said, I endureth all things for the elect's sake. You know, and that's what we're doing out here in the highways and byways. You know, we're enduring and the people in the church Yahweh Shem Shai, and we all have different lots, you know. We're enduring with all things for the elect's sake, man. You know, trying to be that soldier of the Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Verse 8, charity never faileth, but when there be prophecy, they shall fail. Where there be tongues, they shall cease. Where there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. So the love will last forever is what it's getting at. It never fails. You know, you know, that prophecy and speaking in the different tongues, you know, you know, a different language, and that knowledge, you know, it will all disappear. But we know the love's gonna stay. It never fails. Come. Yep, let me get into that. So let me get that. Oh, you come. So I want to get this one more in Salakia. Let me get that. This is 1 John, chapter 3. And I'm going to start at... I'm going to start at verse 13. I'm going to start at verse 12. Yeah, because loving your brethren, you know, like, so let me get that John 15 actually first. Before I forget, you know, through the Spirit, Yahweh Radazah, I remembered. Get it on here real quick, actually. Yeah, because for some reason I could just find stuff faster on this Bible. This is John, chapter 15, and verse 13. Greater love. Wait, I'll start at verse 7. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. That's why we want to abide in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. You know, he's the way, the truth, and the life. He's the key. Verse 8. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so ye shall be my disciples. You know, and we're known by our fruits. Being in that, abiding in Yahweh Shai, you gotta love one another, because Yahweh Shai, before he got crucified, he was washing the disciples' feet, and he even washed Judas's feet, the one who betrayed him. You know, and Yahweh Shai knew that he was going to betray him. Yahweh Shai knoweth all things. You know, he knew what they thought, as the scriptures say. So, like, that's why you want to show love, abide in Yahweh Shai, and show love, because he was a perfect example to show love. You know. That's going in with treating others how you want to be treated. He washed the disciples' feet because he would have wanted his feet washed, you know, if he was in that position. Just when someone is down, we would help him out, because we know if we were down, we would be wanting to be helped out too. So verse, and that's how you know you are his disciples, by bearing much fruit. That's how you're known by your fruits, like I said in verse 9. As the Father hath loved me, so I have loved you. Continue ye in my love. So continue in his love, as he's saying. As the Father had loved Yahweh Shai, so had Yahweh Shai loved us. Verse 10. And if ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. So you want to abide in his love, you know, because his love is the fruits of the Spirit. And Yahweh Shai, that's how we walk like Yahweh Shai walked, as the scriptures say. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. Verse 11, these things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is the commandment, that he love one another as I have loved you. So Khan, you want to love one another as Yahweh Shai loved you, you know? That goes in with treating others how you want to be treated, you know? Yahweh Shai is loving you, so you want to treat others with that love. So verse 13, great love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. You know, and that's the greatest, that's that great love right there. Like he said, greater love have no man than this. And you want to lay down your life for your friends, because Yahweh Shai laid down his life for the church, you know. And I want to back that up with with that First John, and we seen it when Moses put his life on the line for the children of Israel, when he said, blot me out of the book. You know, because Moses was the savior for children of Israel, foreshadowing on to what Yahweh Shai is to be the savior for us, because he died for our sins. He did. Yahweh Shai truly did it. He died. He laid his life for us. And and also David, when he was willing to put his life on the line when he sinned against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, when Satan got him to count the number of Israel when he wasn't supposed to do that, and he went against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, so he had to make up for that. He had to build an altar, you know, and then later, then Solomon built the temple. He wasn't able to build the temple, you know, like he had to make up for what he did wrong, and David was in fear because he saw the sword of the angel, and he had to choose on what to do, and he said, don't put me in the hands of man, because Esau is wicked, man. So you don't want to let Satan cause you to sin. That's what happened to David, you know. You want to learn from the examples. This true love. I'm gonna start at 12. So I'm gonna start at 11. For this is the message that he heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, not as Cain, who was the wicked one and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brothers righteous. So we see the when he had to give the offering, you know, the sacrifice, you know. Salaki, what was it? It was the the offering. When he gave the offering, Cain's offering wasn't the right one. Abel's was the right one. That was the righteous one. And Cain, he got offended by it, and he slew his brother. And then he lied to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, saying he didn't do it. And that's how you know you have your father the devil. You know, he's of Satan, man. He had that Satan spirit on him from the jump. You know? And we know you have your father the devil. That's talking about the Israelites, man. You know, I broke that down, how we all did as well. Check that out. Yahweh Radazah and Yahweh Shai, you know? And it's like, Khan. That's why I said his brothers is righteous, you know, because his brother was doing what was right. Abel was being righteous, and that's what Cain, out of envy and strife, you know, and hatred, he slew his brother, man. So verse 13, marvel not. It all goes back to that, man. You know, showing love to your brethren. Marvel not, and you don't want to be a liar in this walk as well. It goes to that. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death unto life because we love the brethren. And he had not his brother abideth in death. So So a person that has no love is still dead. That's what it's getting at. So if you hate your brother, you're a murderer. Is what it's getting at. So verse 16, hereby perceive we love of God because he laid down his life for us. And we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. And that's what that was getting into, that John 15 and 13. You know, this is what John was quoting Yahweh Shai right there. Verse 16, hereby we perceive we love of God because he laid down, verse 17, but whoso hath this world's good and seeth his brother have need and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? You know? So if you had money and you refuse to help your brother that's in need of help, how can the love of God be in that person, you know? And that goes for anything, like any need. If he needs help on a breakdown or anything, you know. But I just used it goes with money as well too, because in that NLT, if it will tell you, it says money. So verse 18, my little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. So Yahweh Shai is the way, the truth, and the life, you know. So that's why we want to do this by our actions. We want to love off our in deed and in truth. Let me get that in the NLT. Dear children, let us stop saying we love each other. Let us really show it by our actions. That's what we need to show it by our actions, you know. Because if we're not showing it by our actions, then we truly don't love our brethren. This is 1 John. So this is 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen. How can he love God whom he hath not seen? And this commandment have we from, that we loveth God, love his brother also. So, and then verse 18, it says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment, and he that feareth is not made perfect in love. So we want to have that perfect love casteth out fear, you know. And of course we fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, because he's the one that decides if off our works if we make it into the kingdom or not. Just want to make sure it's still going. We got to do this by in deed and in truth. You know, this is 1 Samuel 2. I'm going to start at verse 2. There is none holy as the Yahweh, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God, talking no more so exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for Yahweh is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. You know, so by him actions are weighed. You know, you don't want to talk proudly and arrogancy like how Esau and these 2/3 act. You know, and Khan, because by Yahweh, you know, and of knowledge, whatever come out of your mouth, your actions are weighed on that. So what you speak, you gotta show with your actions as well. Because if not, it's like that's why I brought out that 1 John 4 and 20. Because if you say you love your brother and you don't, he's a liar. You gotta show it by your actions. And like that in deed and in truth. It goes with that as well. Salaki, bear with me, I'm about to get it. So this is Numbers chapter 30 and verse 2. If a man vow a vow unto Yahweh and swear an oath to bind his soul with the bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out his mouth. So you want to do it all accordingly that proceedeth out of your mouth. You know, that's why your actions are weighed off what you speak. You know, if you vow a vow unto Yahweh and swear an oath and bind the soul. You know, because that's all we got at the end of the day. That's all we got as a man in this walk of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We got our word. You know, that's why we're going to be judged off our words, because that's off our action, which comes from our word. So Khan, let's get it. So this is 1 John chapter 1 and verse 3. That which ye have seen and heard declare we unto you, that ye also may have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. And these things write we unto you, that your joy may be full. Then this is the message that we heard of him and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. So in Yahweh Shem Yahushai is the light. We know Yahweh is the light. You know, and there's no darkness in him at all. And if we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. And you know, that's going with your actions as well, because you're saying one thing, that you have fellowship with him, but you're walking in darkness. So you're lying and you're not in the truth. You're not doing this in deed and in truth. Verse 7, but if we walk in the light as he is in the light, and we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, his son, cleanses us from all sin. So that's how you know when we come in this truth, when we come in the walk of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and because his blood cleanses us from all our sin through the water baptism, of course, in the name of Yahushai. You know, and that's how you know we have true fellowship, because we're having it with one with another. And then just like we say with those no campers, that's not true fellowship. You're not having it with one with another. You're only having it with an isolation by yourself. And you're not one with another. That's more than one person. You got a fellowship with more than one person. Khan, you know, that's why Yahushua had 12 disciples. You know, he was fellowshipping with one with another. You know, so Khan, let me get that. So I'm gonna get that 1 John chapter 2. I'm gonna start at verse 8. Again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past and the true light now shineth. And that saith, he is in the light and hateth his brother and is in darkness even till now. So if you hate your brother, you're not in the light of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You're in darkness even until now. And he that loveth his brother abideth in light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. So that darkness hath blinded his eyes, you know. I'm gonna back that up. So this is 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 9. But he that lacketh these things is blind, and cannot see afar off, and hath forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. You know? That's what it's getting into. You're blind if you're like that. And let me get another follow-up, precept upon precept, like with that. Because if you're not in the light and you hate your brother, and you're in darkness. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, I'm going to start at verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it be hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, but Yahushua Hamashiach the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. So Khan, if you don't have that, if you don't have the gospel, it's hid unto them that are lost, and you're blinded because you're in darkness, you know. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua blinded you, and the light, and the way to come back and to believe is if that light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach will come unto you, will shine unto them, you know. So let me get this. This is Psalms 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Yahweh is the strength of my life. Whom shall I be afraid? You know? Verse 2. When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, come upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumble and fail. Though in hosts should encamp against me, and my heart shall not fear. Though war shall rise against me, and in this will I be confident. So you want to be confident, you know, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the light, and He's your salvation. Even if your enemies come against you, you know that they're gonna stumble and fall. You know, and it's like. Get that Isaiah 8 and 12. Back that up. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8, in verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. You know, and that's how you know there's no light in them. If they're not in this testimony of Yahushua, you know, the spirit of prophecy and being a true prophet, loving your neighbor as thyself, and being a disciple. You know, because everyone has a different lot. You know, so it's like that's what I'm just saying, like. If they speak not according to this word, it's because there's no light in them, you know? And, Let me back that up. This is a book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 28. But he said, yeah, rather, blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it. So blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it. It just said in Isaiah, if you don't keep the word, you're in darkness, man. So blessed are they that hear the word and keep it. Come on, man, let's get another one. This is the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 26. For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he shall come in his own glory and in his Father's and of the holy angels. But I tell you of truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the kingdom of God. So we know that some are going to be left and still get saved. But when I really wanted to get into is at 26, because whosoever be ashamed of my words and of and of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed. So he's going to be ashamed of you when he comes back with the chariots, man. Come on. So this is Matthew. Matthew chapter 5, and I'm going to get verse, so I'm going to start at verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. So neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. So let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So that's why Yahweh is saying, let your light shine before men, so they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And that verse 15, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, because you don't want to hide the light. But the candlestick, it giveth light unto all the house. Because if you put the light under a bushel, it's going to hide the light, you know? And come on. Let me get that Luke 11. Back that up with that Luke 11. This is Luke 11:33 to back it up with that. So no man, when he had lighted the candle, put it in a secret place, neither under a bushel, but on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light. So they're going to be able to see the light. They'll be able to see the light. It's not going to be hid. Because if you put it under a bushel, it's going to be hid. So verse 34, the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when the eye is single, thy whole body is also full of light. But when thy eye is evil, thy whole body is full of darkness. So he's telling you right there that if your eye is evil, you're full of darkness, man. You want to have your eye, the light of the body, the eye, where the eye is single and it's full of light. Yahweh is telling you. This is red letter. 35. Take heed therefore that the light which is in thee be not darkness. He's telling you, don't be in darkness, man. Because if thy body therefore be full of light, and having no part dark, the whole shall be full of light. And when the candle bright shining of a candle doth give thee light. Come on, because that candle give thee light, is what it's getting at. It will have no part of darkness, is what it's getting at if you're full of light. And it's going to be bright, shining, like how does the candle giveth light? And verse 39, and Lord said unto him, now ye Pharisees make clean out the outside of your cup and platter, but inward part is full of ravening and wickedness. Salakia. Yeah, so it's full of ravening and wickedness. That's what it's getting, because the outside they make themselves look clean, but inwardly they're full of ravening and wickedness. You know, straight of deceit, to deceive you, lead you on the path to destruction, when we have to stay on this straight and narrow. You know. God. That's why we want to be the light unto others in these last days. And you know, like if other people are in darkness, you got to cast them out, man. Like, let me get one for that. This is Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. Yeah, the unjust man is an abomination to the just, man. So we're not gonna fellowship with you. You know, that's why it says, how can two walk together if they be agreed, man? Don't be partakers with them, as the scriptures say, man. These people who are talking down on you, they're unjust, man. They're abomination. They're wicked. Con, and like how it states, man. That's why we don't fellowship with them, man, because they're in darkness. So let me get this, Matthew chapter 18, verse 9. If thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with one eye rather than having two eyes to cast into a hellfire. So if someone's doing that wickedness, man, and bringing in false doctrine and doing that wickedness, man, and just keeps doing that deceit and iniquity, he has to get cast out, man. You know, let me get a precept upon precept with that. And the brother Yosef came through with that one. All praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He had a revelation on that. This is the book of Job, chapter 11, and verse 14. And if iniquity be in thy hand, put it far away. Let not wickedness dwell in the tabernacles. So you don't want to let wickedness dwell with you in that place, man. It's not going to dwell. You cast it out, you know, because it's not going to make it into the tabernacles. It's not going to make it into the kingdom, you know, and you wouldn't get that everlasting body either, the tabernacles, you know. Con. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Prophecy now. Con. Yeah, like I said, you don't want to have that deceit mouth though. Let me get that real quick. This is Psalms 36 and 3. The word of his mouth that are iniquity and deceit. He had left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. So they don't turn from evil, man. They just keep that deceit. You know, and that's all bad. You know, like you don't want to be like that. For with thee is the fountain of life, and in thy light shall we see light. So like I said, we got to be in that light. You know, that's that verse 9 on Psalms 36. So, and it's the fountain of life. You know, like, let me back it up with that Sirach. This is a Sirach. Salakia. Bear with me. So this is Sirach chapter 21. And I'm going to start at verse 11. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth understanding thereof, and perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. So we know the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and keeping his law, that's the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how you get that understanding, you know, and the fear of the Lord is wisdom. He that is not wise will not be taught. So you got to be and willing to be taught. That's how you will become wise, you know. So you're not wise if you're not willing to be taught. but there is wisdom which multiply bitterness. So you see, that it could multiply bitterness as well. So that's why you don't want to have that bitterness. You want to take the correction. You want to be reproved. You know that's why it gets into like loving your brethren. You know, so like, let me get that real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 27. It's like 22. Oh wait, it was 27, my bad. It's Proverbs chapter 27, verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. So that's really loving your brethren, having that open rebuke to him, and him willing to be able to take the correction, you know? As the scriptures say, happy is the man that taketh correction, you know, just paraphrasing. And to love thy neighbor thyself, that's in the law, man. That's in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So you want to rebuke him so he doesn't suffer sin upon himself. You know? And thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh. So you don't want to have a grudge upon other Israelites just because they're not in the same camp as you. You want to still love thy neighbor as thyself. That's why it says love your enemies. That's why I said it's of your nation. You know, that's from the old to the new, you know? With that Deuteronomy 6 as well. So let's continue on in Sirach 21. He that is 13. The knowledge of a wise man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life. So you know, like that fountain of life, like in Psalms 36, you know? That knowledge of a wise man shall abound like a flood, you know? God. I want to get that. Yeah, this is okay, Khan, this is yeah, I know which one I want. This is Psalms. This is the book of Psalms. Slack it, bear with me. I was trying to get it. Psalms chapter 49, verse 19. He shall go to the generation of his fathers, and they shall never see light. So, Khan, you see that the man that is in honor and understandeth not is like a beast that perished. So you see that they shall find no light, you know? If they're not coming into this, like how it says, if they're not coming according to the word, they shall never see this light. That's what that's getting into. Ephesians chapter 5. I'm gonna start from the top. Be ye therefore followers of God, and as dear children, you want to be followers of Yahushua Mashiach, you know, like I said, and walk in love, you know. Let's get that, because we're going about love, you know. Let's get that Colossians. This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 14. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. So charity is the bond of perfectness, man. That's where it's at. That's the bondness of perfectionist, man. So verse 2, and walk in love as the Mashiach had loved us and hath not given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling Savior. For a sweet-smelling Savior. Verse 3, but fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be one named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness nor foolishness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man. So you don't want to be a covetous man, like how I got into as well. And of course, you don't want to be these unclean persons or a whoremonger, or filthiness, or foolish, you know? Because like a covetous man, like I said, he has the love for money. And the Pharisees were like that too as well. So if you're reincarnated as a Pharisee, a modern day Pharisee today, and you're selling your soul as well, you know? For the, you know, like Mark 8:35, you know? What profit is gain if a man sold his soul? Just for this. It's no profit just for this world. Because this world is about to get destroyed. The giving of thanks, and for ye know that no whoremonger, nor unperson, nor covetous man who is an idolater. You don't want to be an idolater, you know, because if you're a covetous man, you're worshiping that money. You know, the New World Order is on the dollar bill. You know, Elon Musk was wearing the jacket on it as well. Brother David showed me it. You know, and that New World Order is on the dollar bill. And it tells you that the 13 richest families on earth has including the Rockefeller and Rothschild on there, man. You know? And covetous man who is an idolater and hath any inheritance in the kingdom of a Mashiach and of God. Let no man deceive you with vain words. So let no man deceive you with these vain words. For because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. So the wrath of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to come upon the children of disobedience, man. And we know that that's Esau, Edom, and these 2/3, and these are enemies, man. The nation, Psalms 83. You know, God, be ye therefore, Slakia, be not ye therefore partakers with them. And that goes into that Proverbs 29 that I brought out, man. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, man. We're not going to be partakers with you, man. Man, y'all are wicked. For ye were sometimes darkness, but now but now are ye light in the world. Walk as children of light. Because now we're in the light. So we know that we're measuring the time diligently. We're being watchmen. We know the difference from right and wrong. We're trying to make our calling and election sure, you know? Like, God, like, verse 9, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. So the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. So that's why you want to walk in the fruit of the Spirit, and having no fellowship with unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. So you want to reprove those people that are in darkness, man. You don't want to be in the unfruitful works of it. That's why you're known by your fruits. You want to be of the fruit of the Spirit. You know? And you want to expose them, man. Reprove them, man. And stay away, you know? Don't be fellowshipping with them. Have no fellowship with them. You know? For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. But all things that are reproved, you know, and that reproved, you know, it's going as discovered or discovered, you know. That's what it's saying. Are manifest by the light. For whatsoever doth make manifest is light. You know, and it's saying that it's all going to be exposed by the light, you know. And that verse 12 is talking about the ungodly they do in secret, you know. That's why you want to stay away from that, because they do that ungodly in secret. Let me get that Luke 12:2. That's why Yahweh said this, you know. This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known, you know. Because that's why Yahweh said that, you know. Verse 3, therefore whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that ye have spoken in the ear in the closet shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. So it's all going to be known. The light's going to expose you. You know, it's going to come out sooner or later. You know, wherefore he saith, awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and a Mashiach shall give thee the light. Because, you know, like it's getting into, man, like Yahweh will give you the light, you know, because he's the light unto the Gentiles, and we know Yahweh is the light, man. Like in chapter 1, it tells you he's the light in John chapter 1. And let me get this in John 8. The book of John chapter 8 and verse 12. And then spake Yahweh unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So if you walk in Yahweh that's your ticket out, man, to have the light of life, man. That's eternal life, man. That's your way. That's your way to the way he talks is spirit and life. You know, he's the way, the truth, and the life. You know, he's the light, man. He'll give you the light. Kind of see if I still have more time. All right, I'm gonna get into that. Let's get into that prophecy, like I was saying, you know. But hey, let's get into this, because the light of the wicked is gonna be put out. So you know, if you want to stay in that darkness, let's see what's gonna happen to you. This is Job chapter 18 and verse 5. Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. So I'm going to back that up with 21. Let me get 21 in verse Salakia. Yeah, 17. This is Job chapter 21. Start at verse 16. Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out, and how oft cometh their destruction upon them? God distributes sorrows in his anger. You know, they are as stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storm carrieth away. God layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see the destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. So they're going to drink of the wrath of the Almighty Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Continue on in Job chapter 18, verse 6. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. You know? So he's going to be put out, man. And his tabernacle shall be put out. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. You know, his own counsel shall cast him down. You know, like, let's back that up. This is Job chapter 5 and verse 13. He taketh wise in their own craftiness, and their counsel of the forward is carried headlong. So it's carried headlong, man. That craftiness, man. That deceit, you know. This goes into as deceit as well, man. Being craftiness, man. And, it's carried headlong, man. It's carried. It's like hastily. It's carried quickly, man. And, you know. So verse 8, and he cast into a net by his own feet, and and he walketh upon a snare. So that's like that Psalms 7 and 15, man. Let me start at 7. This is lucky the wind. This is Psalms chapter 7, verse 13. How he prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he traveleth with iniquity, and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it. He falleth into the ditch which he made. So he's fallen into the ditch which he made, man. The gin shall take him by the heel, and the robbers shall prevail against him. The snare is laid up for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. You know, he's gonna fall in his own trap. You know, it's laid for him in the ground. You know, and the terror shall make him afraid of every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin. Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. It shall bring him to the king of terrors. And you know the king of terrors is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That's why Paul said by terror we persuade men. By fear and terror we persuade men. You know? And these people are going to fall into the hands of the living God. Because it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living God, Paul said as well. You know? In verse 15. It shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. You know? You know? And that brimstone, man. You know what that's getting into, man. You know, what goes with brimstone? Fire. I didn't want to say something to be wrong, you know, because that's what I thought, and I was right. That brimstone, that's fire. You know, fire's coming upon this place, man. And Esau's going to get cut off, man. After he goes into captivity. You know? And his kingdom's getting destroyed by fire, nuclear fire, missiles, and through the chariots, through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above all his branch be cut off. His branch is going to be cut off, man. His remembrance shall perish from the earth. You know? His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and shall have no name in the street. You know? His name, he won't have no name in the street. Nobody's going to remember him. You know? His remembrance shall be cut off, you know, from the earth. But people are going to say, where is he? You know, like how it says in Job chapter 20. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. So that disguised light he's in, you know, like how Satan, marvel not, Satan disguised in the form of light. You know, he's going to be into darkness, man, chased out of the world. And he shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be a stone at his day, and they that went before were affrighted. You know, they're going to be like, where is he? Like I was saying. Such surely are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not God. And yeah, because they don't believe in God. Esau doesn't believe in God, man. Let me back that up too. Because I know Psalms 14 gets into it as well, but let me back it up with Psalms 53. Who had believed our... Oh, Salaki, I was in Isaiah. Yeah, who had believed our report? Yeah, because they don't have faith in Yahushai. So they don't believe in the report. You know? In Psalms 53. The fool that has said in his heart, there is no God, corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. And that's Esau, man. Corruptible, doing this wickedness and saying there's no God, man. Khan. Yeah, let me get that Isaiah. Let me get into this prophecy. That was prophecy as well, you know, like Esau's gonna be cut off, man. And because you know, I want to get into it more. Isaiah 13, I'm gonna go over it again because they took it off my it's on BitChute, but I want it on here too, you know. Y'all Radazah, you know, it's edifying. So this is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 11. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. And I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Come on, we know the proud's Esau, the Israelites, you know, as well, the 2/3. The ones who have a nice job and don't want to listen to Yahweh Shem Yahushai and come back to the way of the truth and the life and come back to law, statutes, and commandments, you know, because they're the ones that are doing this wickedness. And I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. You know, that's talking about the Israelite man, the elect, man. And that's a woman's protection in the last days, man. Because you know, like I said, how it says in Sirach, a house to cover shame. Like how it says in Sirach chapter 29. Let's see if I could get that real quick. In Sirach chapter 29, verse 21, the chief thing for life is water, bread, and clothing, and a house to cover shame. So you got to have that hedge to have that house to cover shame. You know, you're not gonna have those things. You're not gonna have those things if you don't follow Yahweh Shem Yahushai and submit to, a woman submit to a man. You know, because like I said, that house goes with the seed as well. Like the house of David, that's the seed, that's the offspring. Like in Revelation when Yahweh said, "I am the offspring of David." You know, God, because a lot of you women are going to be getting drafted too as well, because like how it says in 2nd Esdras. Because there's the men are going to be. Yeah, let me just get into it. So yeah, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16. Start 32. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. And that's desolate, man. And it's gonna be desolate because these missiles are coming, man. Nuclear fires coming to this place. And the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands, and their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen, man. They're gonna mourn because they're gonna have no helpers. Because a lot of these men they're gonna get burnt up, man, and receive judgment. And and it's gonna happen to them as well when they get drafted, because women are gonna get drafted too as well. So you need to humble down. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is gonna humble this place down anyways. You know. And they're gonna mourn when they have no husbands, you know. Yeah, have no helpers. So verse 34, in the war that shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So yeah, their bridegrooms are gonna be destroyed in the war. You know, like I said, they're gonna get drafted. And it goes in with World War III when these nuclear missiles hit this place. And famine, we know famine and pestilence is coming, man. Jacob's trouble. Mark of the beast is on the way. Hear now these things, understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and they are not slack. Yeah, because the plagues are drawn nigh, and they're not slack, because vengeance Yahweh Shem Yahushai is near. You know, and they're not going to slack, they're coming. You know, in verse 38, and when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not for a moment. Yeah, so these plagues are not going to slack as a woman travail, man. As a woman travail, when she has those pains that she's going through birth, and that the pains are gonna compass her womb, which pains as a child coming forth, man. So just as a woman travail, that's what that's getting into. As she goes going through that labor, these plagues are not gonna slack. Even so shall not the plague slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle. And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So we got to be pilgrims upon the earth in those days, man. Yahweh Radazah, we have that spirit through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to endure to the end as pilgrims on earth. You know? And endure to the end that we shall be saved. Because we're going to be on foot. We're going to be pilgrims. So let me get back into Isaiah 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall be removed out of her place, and in wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of fierce anger. You know, and it's going to be shaken when these nukes come, you know, like Isaiah says it too in Isaiah 24. This is the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 24 verse 20. The earth shall reel and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Yeah, so it's gonna fall and not rise again, man. That's what that's getting into, man. That when these nukes come, man, that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna move to and fro like a drunkard. Verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So Khan, yeah, that's getting ready. That's what's coming to Babylon, man. You know, known as America. You know, Babylon the Great, known as America, the great whore. So verse, you know, and they're gonna fall by the sword. You know, sword goes into as destruction as well. You know. Verse 16, and their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. And we know what ravished means. And you know that's why it says like these women need to humble down. You know, because let me get it. Isaiah 32:2. A man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest. And rivers of water, and in a dry place, in the shadow of the great rock, in a weary land. You know, and the man's the hiding place. You know, so you want to have that hedge. You want to have that man. You know, like it says in Sirach. You know, you got to have that hedge. You know, like I did that in my woman lesson as well. I brought that out. You know, and that's from destruction. You know, that wind is symbolic to destruction. You know, like the Revelation chapter 7. You know, and Khan. So yeah, that's why Isaiah 4:1, man. These women are 7 women shall take hold of one man. You know that's why that's gonna happen, because these women are gonna get humbled down, and it's like you know, we don't know. 7 is just to completion. We don't know how many women it's actually gonna be. You know. Let me continue on. Verse 17. Well, Khan, yeah, just like in the book of Eli, you know, he was there for that woman, you know, when she was about to get ravished, you know, when she was about to get taken over or killed, you know. So it's like, come on now, that's how you know a man will be worth more than the golden wedge of Ophir, and that's the best gold in the world, you know, that wedge of Ophir, man, the golden wedge of Ophir, and the elect are gonna be better than that, man. So this is a continue on verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver as for gold, and they shall not delight in it. Yeah, because they're not going to delight in this gold. We know that these other nations are going against Babylon, and they're not going to take gold. They're not going to take no. They won't take no for an answer. You know, they won't take that gold and silver. They don't care about it because you know that riches profit nothing in the day of wrath. You know, and that money's not going to be worth nothing. You know, when Yahweh Shem Yahushai comes. Well, judgment is coming then. So we're waiting to see if we're going to make it or not. Yahweh Radazah, we have that number. You know, they're not going to delight in it. They're not going to, they don't want it. You know? You know, and we even know that the nations that are coming with America are going to go against Babylon as well too, man. You know, they'll join right with Russia, man. Gog and Magog, as the scriptures say. You know? And this is a verse 18. Their bow shall dash and young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Yeah, so people are going to be destroyed, you know. They're not going to spare children, you know. They're not going to have pity, you know. Young men are going to be to pieces, you know. There's going to be bodies on the floor, blood everywhere, you know? It's going to be by the nukes, man, by the missiles, man. We know a bow is known as a missile, you know? So, let me get 19. As Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall be there, satyrs shall dance there. Yeah, and the wild beasts in the islands shall cry in the desolate houses, and the dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So yeah, Esau's days won't be prolonged, and it's going to be desolate, like what I was reading. You know, known as Babylon too, man. You know, and like I said in that Exodus 23 when I brought out in my last video, Yahweh's name is in Yahweh Shai, and He's the only one that's not going to pardon your transgressions. That's how you know it's talking about Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the only one who could save you in those times of destruction, man. This is Nahum chapter 1 and verse 2. God is jealous and Lord revengeth. Yahweh revengeth and is furious. Yahweh will take vengeance on his adversaries, and his reserveth wrath for his enemies. Yahweh is slow to anger and is great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. Yahweh hath in his way in the whirlwind and the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. So we see he's going to put vengeance on his adversaries, man, on his enemies. That recompense, man, he's going to pay him back, you know. And we know, like in Isaiah 66 and 15, he's coming with the whirlwind, with the chariots, man, to bring out nuclear lasers, man, fire, after he controls these missiles, man. See if I can get this real quick. Well, yeah, Salakia, yeah, because also I said the bows are missiles, but the bows are the shallows that hold the missile, and yeah, we know that the arrows are the nuclear missiles. Salakia, I misstated that. But yeah, Khan, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. You know, Yahweh Radazah, this was edifying. It's Khan. This is a. This is Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Yahweh was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahweh understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she had wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she had poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman had done be told for a memorial of her. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Peace, salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, learning or teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom.